So far, SSF and the build have been going better than I thought they would, honestly, especially now that we're smoothing out the damage after picking up a few of the nodes close to the tree that I missed before. Thanks for the comment on the previous video about them. Anyway, if you're playing PoE currently, I'd love to hear what build you're playing and how your league is going. And if you're not playing PoE, I'd be interested to hear what else you're playing at the moment. And as usual, if you're enjoying the series, likes and subscriptions are massively appreciated. The current state of the build is pushing up into the yellow maps, our first few encounters with the Maven, the Eater of Worlds, and soon hopefully the Searing Exarch should be coming up soon, as we push higher into the yellow maps. Primarily at the moment I'm trying to go for the maximum Atlas completion, which is good. We're only missing currently 2 white maps at the moment, and most of the lower tier yellow maps are done as well. I hope this series and build show that even in a restricted game mode like SSF, you don't have to hard stick to the meta skills and builds. Not that this build is meta breaking or anything, it's a standard skill on a standard ascendancy without anything really out of the ordinary. And there are many stronger builds that you could play at the moment, but I'm just showing that you can progress through the end game with off-meta skills that are generally viewed as weaker at the current moment. This is a small demonstration of the build dealing with medium tier yellow map bosses in the Maven's arena, around tier 8s and 9s, and as you can see the damage drops them relatively fast. However, you can see that it is starting to drop off. I'm hoping this will start to pick up some more as we progress through primarily gear upgrades. However, it would be also a huge damage increase if we could find some nice cluster jewels to respec our tree into something more optimized and not spread so thin over the skill tree. But I think for now this is going to be somewhat where our damage increasing smooths off, as we're going to need big gear upgrades in order to push it easily up at the moment. You can see the damage actually here. This is a tier 10 boss. No defensive modifiers on it for the monsters actually, except I guess blind, but let's be honest, no, blind literally does nothing against me because I'm a spell build. Not too bad. Although if you start throwing some defensive modifiers on there, some extra elemental resistance, or especially some ignite resistance, it might start to get a bit rough. Unfortunately, somewhere in this map there's actually a Labyrinth trial, so I need to try and find out where that is. The interesting thing about this Labyrinth trial is this is the first one I've got. They never used to be that rare, really, in PoE. Maybe they toned them down, because now you only need 1. You only have to complete 1 to get the Blessing of the Goddess to actually be able to go to Uberlab and pick up your last Ascendancy points. So maybe that's why. But like, you used to be able to easily find at least a single trial. Granted, you wouldn't be able to access it for ages because you needed, of course, the full 6 trials from maps to be completed. But anyway, this new system is probably much better. You can't get screwed by RNG as hard. Also, I have no idea if this is true, or if it's just kind of some subconscious bias, but I feel like you get considerably more enemies that are resistant to your damage type. I have no idea if that's actually a thing, but my god, it feels like it. It feels like the only resistant mobs I get are resistant to fire. I'd never see any that are like resistant to lightning or anything. That's what it feels like anyway. That might be a very well intended thing that I'm just unaware was intended, because I haven't really been keeping up to PoE for the last few leagues. I was kind of burnt out for a while, but really enjoying it again now that I'm coming back after a break. Probably helps that I'm playing a different mode to what I normally would play. I'd never played SSF before, really. I tried it a few times, but I never really made it to maps or anything. But it has made me appreciate the other modes in PoE a bit more, I feel like. Like, before I played SSF, I never would have considered playing Ruthless, but now I actually am. I'm considering it quite a bit, actually. More than I ever thought. You can have blights that are just a single thing. I guess Ignite here really shines because of the Ignite proliferation from the corpses. That just immediately ignites the mobs as soon as they spawn. That's another bonus to this build. Oh, a blighted map. Tier 10. Ooh. That might be a bit rough. I probably need some ring enchants to be able to do that. I have none yet, of course. I haven't really got many oils. I haven't really encountered many blights, unfortunately, because I do actually enjoy blight as a mechanic. Maybe blight is something I should spec into. We eventually got our final ascendancy, as our opposed no threat and dropped easily. I definitely feel like they made the trials much rarer now that you only need 1 to achieve your final ascendancy. This allowed us to pick up Bastion of Elements. I feel like we possibly could have done something with the golems as well, but I think we would need a lot of respecking to actually utilize it effectively, so for now we just go for the easy defensive option. I thought this Aegis skill would disable our steel skin, but I was confusing Aegis skills with guard skills. Turns out Aegis skills are only available from certain uniques or ascendancies, here's a full list, and the skills that activate and give you passive tankiness. It should be quite a nice pickup for us. It also gives us the small added bonus of being immune to reflected elemental damage, which does help a bit with allowing us to run elemental reflect maps too, saving a little bit of currency here and there. Playing SSF has opened my minds to playing other modes in PoE, specifically Ruthless at the moment, as now the idea of playing a heavily restricted mode does appeal to me, especially due to the fact that the league mechanics you find in every area is reduced significantly, any drops are pretty rare, the gem restrictions meaning you can't easily get your best gems. Maybe I'm a bit of a masochist, but currently this sounds really appealing to me to try in the future, maybe for a bit at the end of the league, or to league starters when heading into the next one. I always wanted to try hardcore, but due to the technical issues that PoE is prone to, I never really got around to it. I completed the campaign on one hardcore character and didn't really play it again. And Ruthless now appears to offer almost a medium core, as the XP loss on death is considerably more punishing than softcore generally is. So if you have any thoughts on a Ruthless series in the future, I'd love to hear those as well. So just giving a small character update, there's nothing that's changed too majorly at the moment. Currently got this Labyrinth of all actually, this dropped recently and it rolled very well. So I've dropped one of my old rings. This ring is trash, to be honest. It's a shame about the enchant, but there were only cheap oils, so that's fine. We do lose a little bit of life, but it's going to be worth it. I hope the rarity is actually going to be noticeable as well. The other thing that I've done is I've flipped some of the gems over to level 1 20% quality with the vendor recipe. So Ignite Proliferation, the GMP, and I think it was actually, yeah, efficacy. I only had 3 GCPs, so I had to try and prioritize which gems I wanted. Some of the gems I wanted weren't actually level 20 yet, so that's what we've done for now. As soon as you do that, you do of course take a damage hit for a little while until your gems are leveled up. So if you are doing, especially if you're doing your main core gem, if I did Fireball, then I would definitely want to go into lower tier maps because I would not have the damage to do higher tier maps with a level 1 Fireball, right? But Fireball only gains projectile speed, and while projectile speed would be nice, it's not a big deal compared to the like 10% damage, 10% increases in damage that you can get from some of your other gems. Aside from that, right now, our resistances are looking good. Chaos still considerably lower than where I'd like it to be, but we're going to have to replace our boots and our gloves as soon as possible, really. The gloves, we still need dex, even with this 27 all-stat Labyrinth of all. I think we actually need about 20 dexterity. Yeah, 20 dexterity. Which we could actually gain from just 1 skill point here, but right now, the next 2 skill points are Faster Ignite and Searing Heat, and these are quite huge damage increases, so I do want to be picking those up as soon as possible. Currently level 88, so when we hit level 90, we should have both of those. Should be quite nice. Aside from that, we are starting to run out of points to put. We've got the fire exposure you inflict applies an extra minus 5% to fire resistance from this fire mastery over here. That would be quite nice. Aside from that, there's nothing too amazing. We could pick up this damage over time multiplier if you've killed recently, I suppose. That's, you know, decent while clearing, or if a boss has adds. Something like that would be quite nice. As I said, also we could go to Dex, but that would only be temporary to smooth out getting replacements for these gloves. As I said, we also need better boots as well, but I want high move speed. We do actually have so much cold res that I could actually... I'm still capped on resistances if I completely get rid of these. I suppose actually I should change this crafted resistance to chaos res or life, but anyway, these boots, if these had life, these wouldn't really be that bad, but I do want 30% movement speed boots in the future if possible. And yeah, as I said, the gloves are terrible, so we're definitely still going to need... I can't believe I haven't found something better than this, honestly. It's mainly because we needed such a huge amount of dexterity from our gloves before that I wasn't able to easily find anything to replace it. I might attempt to try and craft some gloves, but we'll see how that goes. Crafting in PoE is not the greatest. We should also probably try and get a secondary 5-link for our flame wall setup. Let me just quickly go and have a look at how many fusings, and we actually only have 49 fusings. But we can also trade our jeweler's orbs to some fusings from a vendor. So I guess for now we won't be looking for that anyway. Oh my god, that is a juicy essence. I'm going to be able to kill this guy. Oh, of course it's fire and ignite resistant. Well, this is going to take a while. Hey, at least I leveled up while fighting them. Maybe the extra point will try and help me kill them faster. I'll try and put it in. I'm not gonna lie, these essences are a real pain sometimes. Especially when they roll something like fire and ignite resistance, or like life regen, life leeching, something like that. It starts to get a bit rough. At least life leeching isn't too bad because you can just not let them hit you. Luckily the adds they spawn also just keeps refilling your flasks. I'd like to know the effective health of these compared to something like the Guardians or something, because these are really taking a while. I feel like even the Guardians wouldn't take this long, to be honest. Without maps, at least. Is it even worth killing them when they take this long? No idea. Quite a few decent essences, though, for us, so... potentially. Plus, at this point, I've done it anyway, so whatever. Right, so this is only like the first time that I've actually made it to the 3rd floor of Sanctum. I've seen that it looks like the rewards scale up a decent amount when you get to this level, but we'll see, I guess. And I was also thinking that maybe one of the reasons I don't like Sanctum so much is you're not really killing hordes of mobs, which I feel like PoE is really about. It's just killing one mob every now and then. That's like, you know, kind of a mini-boss, I guess. Not really, but... I'm not gonna lie, I forgot the mobs here could even drop loot. The only thing you ever get from them is Atreus coins. Yeah, I guess that's the way, you just skip through everything. Honestly, I feel like alchemy are more valuable than chaos at the moment for me, so I'm just gonna say the alchemy right now. Yeah, like maybe there is a good reason to kill the things, but I don't see it, so I'm just gonna skip through everything that I can, to be honest. As long as I don't get the affliction that slows down your move speed, I feel like I'm good at the moment, to be honest. Although I don't know the pattern of the final boss fight at all. I assume this is the final floor, I don't even actually know. Oh, you can just flame dash up that? Okay. One Divine Orb at the end of the floor. If this was Trade League, I'd probably be really happy, but I don't feel like I can utilize Divine Orbs particularly well, so it's not really that big of a deal. I unfortunately lost all my inspiration, so we're gonna have to try and see how this goes. Hopefully it goes well. I have no idea of the boss's mechanics or patterns or anything.
You have invoked the wrath of a powerful entity. Perish!
Oh, okay. It attacks fast. Okay, yeah, it attacks fast, it moves fast. It does everything fast. Monster level 75, so not the highest. Okay, well, not too bad. Pretty easy, actually. So... is this the final floor? Or can I keep going? Okay, you can keep going. Right, so I could get 16 chaos on completing the Sanctum. My Divine Orb, at least. I feel like my afflictions are so bad that I'm not going to be able to bonus attack, cast, and move speed. Oh, that's why the boss was so fast. Lose 5% of current resolve on room completion. Like, these things don't seem amazing. I guess the damage one is quite good. I'm just going to take the instant rewards, because I don't feel like I'm actually going to be able to complete this, just with the afflictions. Okay, well, it definitely looks like the rewards scale up, because now I'm getting Val, Chaos Annulment, Chaos, Regret, Annulment rewards. Maybe this is the final boss, because I believe Leisha, or however you pronounce that, was the mob that I was having to interact, or the NPC that I was having to interact with at the beginning of the, like, quest line for the League mechanic. I guess some annulments would actually be quite nice. I almost want to take the Unknown Affliction just for the instant inspiration I get when I get an affliction, but if it's the one that slows my movement speed, there's absolutely no way I'll be able to complete it. So I guess let's just go for the safe one. I'd like to go to the Merchant, but we just have so few coins and we gain so few that there's just absolutely no point, I believe. Again, I'm not sure why I'm fighting things. It doesn't really seem like there's any point to fight things. 2 Orbs of Annulment. I think I'm going to try for it. No, I probably need the Val Orbs, honestly, because soon we're going to be pushing up into red maps, and we're going to need the Val Orbs to corrupt some of the maps. That actually feels really sad, but whatever. Val Haste. Wow, actually a nice drop. I'm not really sure if we can use that on this build that effectively, but we could definitely just throw it in and use it as a move speed boost, like another Quicksilver or something. I suppose Val Grace would have been nicer, but can't really pick and choose. But definitely one of the best Val auras to get. So this will be interesting. Monsters have 70% chance to avoid elemental ailments. This might just brick the map, but I'm curious to see how this interacts with the Elementalist Ascendancy of hits always ignite. I guess if the hit always ignites, they still have the chance to avoid the ignite? Well, I can confirm it doesn't seem to break the map. It might make it a bit more painful. I honestly can't exactly tell. Maybe if it means I can't tell, it's just not doing anything. But anyway, I suppose this demonstrates that the build, its current power level, is able to push up into lower tier red maps without really an issue. Quite a tanky build, you're probably not going to be dying much. If you are, a lot of the times it's just because you were greedy. Like, a lot of the time, if I die, it's because I greeded to get an extra cast off when I probably shouldn't have. Just stupid stuff like this. Is that a coming calamity? Wow. I must admit, playing SSF does make unique drops considerably more interesting. The only thing is, I feel like with an Ignite build, it's not very easy to transition into anything else. Whereas if I was something of a more generic spellcaster or something, then I would easily be able to just transition to whatever I get, really, based on whatever drops I get. Coming Calamity is pretty unique item, which I'd probably not be able to utilize anyway, but I've tried a lot of auto bombers with double heralds, like Herald of Ice and Herald of Thunder with the Coming Calamity. Quite interesting builds, quite fun to play. Quite expensive to get up running though, and their single target is quite poor without significant investment. Very, very fun map clearers though. Oh, this was actually corrupted as well, I didn't even realize, so I get the Atlas point. Heading out now into some strongbox things, got the guaranteed strongbox. Going up here for the secret operations, operative strongbox. I guess we can actually just respec that point. I was going to go in here for the map sustain, but honestly, I'm not having issues sustaining maps and increasing the tiers, so I don't really feel like it's actually that needed. I guess for now, just the shaping the skies and shaping the mountains is enough to not really feel like I have an issue at all. Wow, there's a blighted tier 14. Well, there's basically... These modifiers aren't that bad. Monsters are hexproof is pretty rough. I think honestly out there, I'm just going to go for Pillars of Arun. Strongboxes in your maps are corrupted. Strongboxes in your maps are at least rare. How was that blue? Is that not technically my map? Because it's a Kirak map or something? Maybe your Atlas passives don't apply to maps from Kirak. I don't really know. Or maybe it doesn't apply in unique maps or something. I'm not really sure. So they actually removed the Harvest Craft for converting a map into one of the same tier that you haven't completed, basically. It was like higher chance to be one that you haven't completed. So what I can do is actually just grab a map and then run... Let's just try some Orb of Horizons. Okay, easy. I suppose now actually I might go for Harbingers and try and improve those a little bit, just for a little bit more consistent currency. I don't think Harbingers are going to be too amazing in SSF, but just a little bit more extra guaranteed currency per map. Can't really complain. Wow, I got both maps on the first Orb of Horizon. They didn't change this into being lucky for the maps that you haven't completed, right? Like, damn. Now we've got our additional Harbinger per map. That is a Storm Secret. What the hell? With that and Coming Calamity, we have two of the core uniques for an auto bomber build. Interesting. So that is now every single white map completed and every single yellow map completed. It's a really nice completion. Now we can start actually properly pushing up into the reds and getting to the real endgame progression with the Maven, the Eater of Worlds, and the Searing Exarch. Thanks very much for watching this far. As I've said, I would love to hear your thoughts on a Ruthless series or Ruthless in general. I hope you enjoyed and have a good day. Bye bye.